Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of February 10th through the 16th of 2025. All right, so this week we have a full moon midweek on Wednesday. We are coming up to the halfway point of the lunar month, which is usually where we build some momentum approaching it. We get some insights and new perspectives on our life, and then we can implement those for the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be in Leo on Wednesday. Great time for that awareness. Great time to see how far we've come with our self-expression and maybe cultivate a little bit more of that self-expression, a little bit more of that fun, playfulness, and creative energy that Leo is all about. The aspects are a bit quiet this week. Early in the week, we have Mercury and the Sun, who have been close to each other, both squaring up to erratic Uranus. So the first couple days could be good to challenge ourselves a little bit, to have some healthy freedom in our life, healthy change, healthfully get outside of the status quo a little bit. So it's good to be conscious of that, as you can see, as we do tend to maybe feel a little bit of that erratic energy, maybe impulsive. So anything that channels it constructively, and some good ways to do that is listening to that true self and letting out that individuality and healthfully challenging the status quo in conscious and constructive ways there. Along with this, we do have the Sun and Mercury going into Aquarius, which is that Uranus energy. That's going to be around Wednesday for Mercury, Friday for the Sun. So definitely a shift of focus and coming out of more of the more responsible energies of Capricorn and more into that eccentric individuality energy of Aquarius. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, February 10th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You won't see mainstream using the visible sky like this because unfortunately they do not use it. And so the signs are different. For example, maybe you're thinking that the sun's already in Aquarius and not in Capricorn. If you're noticing the sign placements are different, definitely check out the link down below on using the visible sky called True Sidereal Astrology. All right, so let's do a little bit of a recap here, since we do have some of the sign changes with the Sun and Mercury this week. So the Sun and Mercury are in Capricorn for at least the first half of the week here. So it is still really good to be focused on responsibility, discipline, patience, more of that long-term view that Capricorn helps us do this time of the year. This is where the whole lunar month started about 2 weeks ago. And so it is still good, we would say, for the next, for the remainder of the lunar month. So the next 2 or 3 weeks. Still good for that responsible energy, but we are certainly wrapping that up, and it's certainly going to be the strongest, I think, here this first half. And then we'll talk more about that Aquarian shift. But Venus is well set in Pisces when it comes to what we're enjoying in life or can be enjoying in life. It's great to be seeing the value of receptivity. Pisces, the fish, is all about connecting more to the waters of life. It's about flowing. It's about connecting to our intuition, more of our imagination, even spirituality and such. And, enjoying also things that are good for our mental health and spiritual health. So great to be connecting to life in this way, and even our relationships in this way, as it can be a bit dreamy there, a bit receptive, and healthfully compassionate and accepting are really good ways of working with that Venus in Pisces at the moment. Mars is, of course, still retrograde here in Gemini. So as it has been, anything involving our assertiveness and how we are proactive in our life, it's really good to be flexible with this, to be learning, to be curious, especially in Gemini, to be learning about things like maybe communication, be learning in general, be open-minded, a bit curious, inquisitive, and maybe a little bit in terms of interacting socially as well. But all of this is about reflection right now when it comes to that fiery or masculine energy of all of ourselves. All right, so that is the placements there. A little bit of this earth energy still with Capricorn, some water with that Pisces, and some air there with that Gemini. So let's go ahead and take a look here at Monday. So as you can see, the aspects are mostly concentrated in the early part of the week here. Again, we are going to have that full moon on Wednesday. So most importantly, as we approach Wednesday, again, we are getting to that heightened energy of the lunar month, and it's good to build some of that momentum. Now, while we do that, the moon will be in Cancer Monday and the first half of Tuesday. And so these couple days good for a little bit of self-care, self-nurturance, protectiveness, but for ourselves and others as well. Cancer is a great time to connect more to our nurturing side, our caring side for others, and connect more to really who and what's intrinsically important to us in life. Really good for personal relationships, maybe spending time at home or with family. Again, anything or any way we want to be caring and nurturing, I think, is a great way of working with that Cancerian energy. Now, the full moon is going to be squaring up to Uranus, as you can see here, but the activity of it's probably going to be the strongest these first couple days. So Mercury squaring erratic Uranus on Monday, our minds with Mercury getting a dose of that unexpected, thinking outside the box, eccentric sort of approach to things. So good to channel this constructively, as I said. We do tend to go to over or under extremes with squares. With Uranus, again, it can be a little bit with Mercury specifically, maybe some things involving that communication, maybe some things we're thinking about, maybe the mind is just feeling a bit restless, or maybe even some anxiety. Maybe our day-to-day life is just very busy. Whatever it is, it's great to see that, yes, it's a good time to have freedom and change, which we're likely going to be feeling internally, but to do so constructively instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, being conscious, being aware, and then responding instead of reacting. And this can make it very constructive, a great time to be thinking outside the box, to be innovative, to maybe mix up that day-to-day routine a little bit, but in constructive and intentional sort of ways here. So nice step in the right direction for a little bit more of that freedom, individuality, and healthfully challenging the status quo these first couple days. So that's Monday with Mercury, specifically with the mind, the communications, the more day-to-day kind of stuff. But on Tuesday with the Sun, and this deals more with our self-expression. So everything we said there is definitely applying to both days, but Tuesday certainly a little bit more in terms of self-expression. So how can we be more of our true self and listen to that excitement and be more of that, letting out more of that individual self-expression, but again, consciously and constructively. This could be good maybe for channeling it in terms of whatever we're focused on or whatever we're creating in life when it comes to the Sun there. All right, and that's of course approaching the full moon. The full moon will be activating it as well, as the full moon will be opposite Mercury, squaring up to Uranus as part of this T-square. But Wednesday is really that status check time. So it is in Leo, and so it's a status check with how, where, and why we're expressing ourselves. So Leo is about connecting to our hearts, to do a status check with the things and people that we love in life, and to let out more of that passion, more of that, creativity, more of that playfulness. Leo, the lion, is all about connecting to our hearts and expressing ourselves from there. So whether it's new interests, new hobbies, new creative things, whether it's new ways of, literally or, indirectly expressing ourselves, or it's simply just having a little bit more fun, a little bit more comedy, a little bit more playfulness in our life, with others as well. This can be a great time to shine when we're talking about the moon in Leo, especially with the full moon. So it's doing this status check right now. And this can help balance out a lot of the, more grounding Capricorn energies, of course. This is the part of Leo that opposes Capricorn and true sidereal. So it's really about balancing responsibility with fun, playfulness, and self-expression. I would say it's really good to see the value of both work and, doing what's, responsible for the future, that discipline and all this. But at the same time, yes, we need fun in life. We need play in life. We need creativity. We need that self-expression. And so Leo's a great time to see how that's going. And maybe there's some things we can start to implement for the next 2 weeks for the lunar month. So anything that does come to your awareness around Wednesday, anything you do feel like making some shifts and changes with that's going to incorporate a little bit more of this fiery Leo in your life, I think it's an excellent way of working with the middle part of this week. All right, and then right around that same time, Mercury will be closer to Aquarius, and so we do start that Aquarius season here. Our mind's going into that innovative Aquarian energy, similar to Uranus as we talked about, but here probably after the full moon getting a little bit easier to work with, coming off of those squares especially. So our minds are going into that visionary Aquarius, great for the coming weeks, almost month here, to be focused on the future, focused on visions for ourselves or collectively, focus on the world, focus on community contribution. Basically, it's about connecting to our individual spark, and then from there seeing what we can contribute to that's greater than ourselves. This is the water bearer, the person pouring the pail of water into the stream for all to drink from. So it activates both that individual contribution that we have to our own and the collective future. But of course, also, yes, where can we be a part of something greater than ourselves and contribute that way as well. So great to start to think this way, very visionary. Again, like that Uranus, outside the box, challenging the status quo, more individuality, and the sun will start to shift into here on Friday. Okay, so the moon will be in Leo for all of Wednesday, Thursday, and the first part of Friday there with that full moon, and then the sun starts to go into that visionary Aquarius around Friday. All right, so that is the most important stuff of the week. Saturday and Sunday has the moon in Virgo. Coming off of that full moon, it's good to start to, of course, implement that full moon. And Virgo, the maiden, coming after Leo, is all about taking the passion and doing something with it. So Virgo is about the work and refinement. It's refining the passion. It's refining that creative energy. It's refining that playfulness into very concrete things. So it makes it a good weekend for self-improvement, personal development, work and service, and just all in all getting into the details of things to create a little bit more structure here in our lives in general. All right, everyone, so that is the week in a nutshell. Putting this simply, we have a full moon on Wednesday, status check time of the lunar month, getting some new perspectives, and especially in the context of expressive Leo. How has that fiery, passionate side of our life been going, and how can we continue to implement this for at least the next 2 weeks for this full moon time. The full moon will be squaring up to erratic Uranus, and this is going to be probably particularly strong the early part, Monday, Tuesday. And so it's all about finding those healthy ways of freedom, healthy ways of individuality, and healthy ways of challenging the status quo, which I would say simply is probably good to challenge our own status quo, right? To see how we can approach things differently, be a little bit more flexible in our life, and be willing to change a little bit. So with that intention, this can make it an extremely constructive, very positively changing time of the month here. And so any intentions around that, absolutely fantastic. So that's really the bulk of the week there, the full moon, and those squares up to Uranus. And of course, the sign changes. So we do have the Sun and Mercury going into visionary Aquarius, starting to activate that vision, starting to activate a bit of that contributing energy for the weeks to come. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you haven't yet joined us for the live stream, we're doing this every Sunday at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time, every Sunday, Eastern Time of the Americas. But you can just go to the YouTube channel and you'll see the link there. And if you're part of MTZ Insiders, the newsletter, we send out that link every week. But I hope to see you there, and have a great week. Everyone have a great full moon, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.